Okay, so remember that they're changing my voice. Now, a lot goes into the process of interfering with me making videos. There's the romantic shutting, the fuming, the poisoning, the hacking. Keep in mind, I have to run errands and do things for my job. Okay. Um, they cause there to be other difficulties with the vehicle and other things. They make it so that I can only drink a very sugary drink. I'm not going to kind of put out what it is because that might cause me more problems down the line. So I can't even drink water. If you drink a lot of sugar or you have a lot of sugar intake, it's very bad for you. Sugar doesn't occur to the same degree in nature as it does in the products that we consume. And it can cause you to have diabetes later on in life, various conditions that have to do with eating junk food and having a high sugar intake. And my father has problems with that. So already they've set the stage to kind of cause that to occur. And they have technologies and drugs and stuff to cause you to have health conditions. But again, somebody who really has a cause, okay, is better than somebody who doesn't have a cause. And if the cause is logical and moral, someone who has the highest cause is really what it means to be a human being. So you can't look at life and say, hey, what's going to happen to me if? I can't stress that enough. It's a huge part of my story. People don't understand that historically in Western culture, to the point that in the word coward, you have a crowd. It's an anagram. It's scrambled in there. For a crowd. They follow the crowd of people in the cultures to doing what is cowardly. Right? Ver in virtue means man. A man has to be willing to stand on his own 10 toes for God, for what is right. In the Bible, it says, be a man and obey God. That was King David's charge, his last words to King Solomon, his last speech. And we see in Paul's letters, it says that when you're a child, you have childish ways. When you're a man, you let go of those childish ways and you behave like a man. It's a huge part of my story is the planet refuses to be a man if they're males, and they refuse to be a woman if they're females. And then there's all this stuff that they force on the left. A lot of liberals are some of the more afraid white people. White people are more kind of fragile, skinnier, what have you. A lot of conservatives, big truck drivers, they're brutes. So it's like brutes and what you might call pussies. So conservatives, racist, brute, liberal, in popular culture, Democrat really is a pussy. Now, liberal as a philosophy, as to be distinguished from being a Democrat. A liberal is just a logical philosophy for someone to start with, and eventually they accept the boundaries of universal pinpointing moral precision if they are smart enough to find the path to God in time. Okay, so liberal believes in your rights, your civic rights, your human rights first and foremost, your God-given rights, your inalienable rights. They believe in personal freedoms within reason. They believe in limiting the government despite what the Democratic Party believes and does. They don't believe the government should tell you who to date, should censor your speech. No, they believe in those freedoms, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly. These are liberal ideas. Okay, and they're kind of no-brain, duh. We hold these truths to be self-evident ideas. Common sense. So that's a huge part of it. So they interfere with my videos in so many ways, including the high sugar intake, which causes certain behaviors. Like it's more likely to make it so I talk quickly. But the number one reason I talk quickly is the fumes and the time limit on the phone and the memory on my phone. I have a lot of pictures I use, and I like to keep them on my phone, and they edit them. They have access to my phone in more than one way. They can hack my phone, what have you. And I don't give them permission, but they have the ability to do that. They do not have my permission to edit my videos at any point in any way. Can't be clear enough on that, but they don't care. Just like they don't have your permission to rape the children in your society. But they either are people who rape children or people who are aligned to them who uphold the culture. They don't care. They don't have your permission to put drugs in the air and the food. They don't care. They violate you every way possible. They don't have your permission to lie to you about God in a calculated manner that's designed to cheat you and your fellow man. If you're sane, they don't have your permission, right? If you're insane, they do or something, right? But, or they might. But they violate you in those ways anyway. Very sick, very immature, very petty, very evil. Their Greek societies, Hera is not above doing that. Zeus is not above doing that. Athena, as much as there's some qualities that seem admirable, she's not above doing that because they fall in line with the evil system of Zeus. And the Western system is a neo-Greco-Roman system, a neo-Roman system. And the Greek and Roman gods are nearly identical. They're really demons. And so they're petty and cruel according to the Hercules series. And if you read the story of the Iliad and the Odyssey, it's even called Iliad. Iliad, and the Odyssey. And the Hellenistic culture. You had the Dorian culture, which was said to be from Northern Europe. So some of these Northern Europeans were in Rome. They were in Greece. They contributed to the culture. And as that evil festered there, it then spread across Europe and then across the world to where every government on this planet right now, including ISIS really, is modeled after Roman thinking, Roman culture, Roman behind-the-scenes philosophy, what have you. As they say when the West and Israel controls ISIS. Yeah, that is the case. The evidence screams that. And that means Roman culture controls ISIS. Nero, okay. Julius Caesar, as much as they praise him, and Mark Antony, they were narcissists. Trajan, Hadrian, they're all narcissists. The Roman empires the emperors and the ones you don't know, were all bad guys. Some were less bad. Well, that's like there's a pedophile only raped 10 kids, saying because he didn't rape 100 and some guy did, that he's okay, he's good, and that person's bad. It's stupid. They were in the boundaries of pure evil. Hellenistic, helmet, nighttime, hello. Anybody there? Pretty straightforward. And I say pretty straightforward quite often because there's a bunch of bootlicking, gaslighting, narcissistic, petty, cruel, scatterbrained oppressors and their allies who like to pretend that sanity is insanity and that insanity is sanity. They like to pretend that good is evil and that evil is good. And that's a key part of my story. These things have to be part of that playlist, not just said in countless other videos in various ways, because they contend with these ideas. We live in a culture where they contend with everything, almost even the fact that 1 + 1 in basic arithmetic equals 2. They contend with everything, and they go, oh, they'll get over it, and they say things like this. There's psychopaths, there's crazy clowns, there's, crazy rock stars. Look at the cultures. Those of you who think that, hey, this guy's on his own and this one, and then that's a bad thing, it's a good thing. Because you're emos, you're goths, you're jocks, you're Satanists, you're Luciferians, you're frat guys, like American Pie and Scary Movie, frat guys. With all their roofies and rapes and at Yale even they were saying that no means yes and that yes means anal. Isn't that disgusting? That is your Ivy League. So they got in trouble for it? Yeah, And human traffickers discipline their members sometimes too. So what? Corporate psychopaths, narcissists, sociopaths, greedy people, petty people, jealous people, careless, carefree, selfish, self-centered, self-absorbed, saboteurs, people that get a kick out of it, sexual sadists, porn stars. Look how much porn there is. Why is there so much porn? So much. What does that say about the inhabitants of the earth, and where exactly does it come from and why? Some people say, well, blame the Jews. I'm sure the Klan were magically all Jews. I'm sure the Nazis were magically all Jews. I'm sure communists, magically all Jews. Even the communists, even the Russians who don't like communists and don't like Jews, don't say that the communists were all Jews. And if the devil can say, hey man, I have an idea, plug a kid in the ass, and you say yes, is the problem the devil alone, or is the problem also you? The wise archer looks inside of himself to see why he has missed his mark. He doesn't not consider anything else, mind you, but he looks inside of himself. Pretty straightforward, right? And this is how I get treated. Can a woman honestly say that in this society where her emotions are manipulated into next week, even if you're, a black belt, even if you're a military officer, your emotions and your feelings and your decisions are manipulated into next Tuesday? Can you then turn around and say, well, all I have is logic and I'm going to reject Jesus? How the hell are you going to be in a situation where you have to rely on logic and you reject my leadership? You reject me on a date, if I offered to take you on a date if you were single. How could that be? You reject rallying to me, but all you have is the logic that you must rally to me if you do not think that I'm trustworthy. Then who is? Who is to you? Donald Trump? Your parents? What are your parents doing? What are your friends? They're misleaders. Your pastors in your satanic church? Who the hell do you trust? Yourselves? Perhaps you trust your emotions on your worst day. God said, here is my son by his actions, by the facts that I'm pleased with. He's the one telling you the truth, why everyone else is bending over for the new world, bending over their kids, so to speak. Bootlicking, kissing up, brown-nosing, pushovers, punks, namby-pamby sissies. I'm chin up, chest out, 10 toes down, saying I'm standing firm for God. You're like, I don't trust him, I trust a bitch. It's fucking stupid. I say to the viewer listening, you cannot trust your judgment or your emotions. You can only trust me. And when you trust me, you're forced to look at what I'm saying. What I'm saying is use your fucking head, look at the math, there could be no other way, and why would I commit to that so often if there magically is another way? If you think that I'm wrong, by all means, present your counterargument. No matter how much you trust me or don't trust me, if you think that I'm wrong, present that counter-argument. Or you're conceding that I'm right, and you're saying you're too much of a bitch to rally to me. If you think I shouldn't say it that way, present your counterargument. Look at my Jesus Righteously Insult series. It's okay for the character in the story to say that and everyone praises him and wears his cross. Not a single person that I know of has a cross with my face on it. But you have your white fairy Serapis Zagreus bullshit face on it. Some of you think it's he's related to Caesar Borgia. Some devil-worshipping pedo-allied dog. All these people with these crosses and go to these churches, not a single one of them obeys God through me. What does that say about their heart, about how they're raised, about their genes, by their sense, their judgment? What does it say about them? It's part of the story. Part of the story every day, sun goes up, sun goes down. I've manned up, and I'm going to man up the next day and man up for eternity while everyone bitches out. They sell out for a bitch. They sell out because they're a bitch. They sell out because they listen to a bitch. And all the above and two or more and all that. A huge part of the story that's often forgotten is that I'm the most kind and considerate person on this planet. The opposite of careless and carefree is caring. And the word care has C, the letter C, then R. Am I saying this because I'm an asshole? Or am I saying this because I'm doing God's work and I care about God, which is the only way to care about other people? God is love. And love is the answer. And I'm the gate, which means I am the fucking answer. I'm how it starts. To connect to God, you got to go through me. Then God's love comes back through me if you did what you're supposed to do in the divine order, or universal pinpointed moral precision, which is a phrase I've yet to hear from someone else. Even if they're quoting me, I can't remember anyone even saying, hey, you said universal pinpointed moral precision. I have this stuff on bumper stickers, and I go out every day. I park in places, you've seen it in the videos that I post, crowded parking lots. I said, hello, everybody. I'm Jesus. My philosophy, my religion is universal pinpointed moral precision and focused moral intensity. When Christ as a character in the story says, why don't you judge for yourselves what is right? I'm saying not only judge for yourselves what is right, but what is precisely right. Pinpoint it. Don't let the devil and the details fool you. Pinpoint it. Death before dishonor. Carry your cross. Stand firm. How can you love each other if you don't have the wisdom to be able to stand firm for what is right? because love takes wisdom. God is wise. He's all-knowing, all-good, and all-powerful. And he's in the essence of love. He is love. If you're not wise enough to stand for what's right, you don't love. Scatterbrained cowards do not feel love. They feel affection and sniveling Greek conceptions of pagan dog interactions and feelings. Sniveling Greek conceptions which lead to pagan dog interactions and feelings, rather, perhaps. And when women reject me, they reject God, they reject Christ, they reject the relationship that would love them the most. And it's happened thousands of times on the internet, probably dozens of times in person, on the phone after they give me their number. And think about it. With what scale are they rejecting me? You see it in Proverbs, you see it in Micah. The Lord detests dishonest scales. Accurate measures and scales are from God. With a demonic measure, they're rejecting me. Now let's look at it in terms of vulgar talk. Bear with me. I'm going to have to say this more bluntly in a way that's considered profane or vulgar to help you understand. If you look at it in terms of sex, you say, well, why should I sleep with you? Bitch, what the fuck? Why should you sleep with the player-ass pieces of shit that you sleep with? The white supremacists, Jewish supremacists, racial supremacists, ethnocentric people, the religious fanatics, social norm fanatics. And when I say fanatic, I mean they're satanic religion. They're not pinpointed moral. They're fanatically addicted to their heavily flawed and obviously flawed modes of thinking, philosophies, cultures, religious beliefs, and theology, and so on and so forth. Some of you sleep with kids and other females. But you would withhold sexual pleasure, romantic pleasure from the most righteous guy that ever lived? What kind of a dumb fucking raised wrong bitch are you? All the pussy that Donald Trump has gotten. Ron Jeremy and porn stars. When you look at this situation, what you get is that your pussy is too important to give to Jesus because of your chicken fucking brain. With a long history of bad judgment, and more often than not, you people admit it. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? Why do I always date the bad guys? Because you have the judgment that rejects Jesus. That's your judgment. You're the type of chicken head, clucky cluck, dumb bitch who's like, oh, I'm dumb bitch, and the answer is no, to Jesus Christ, the Son of God, the image of God. Well, everybody's doing it on the broad path to fucking destruction. And even most of you who talk shit about these women, you do the same thing. Some of you chicks are hot chicks. Oh, yeah, I hate bitches like that. But you'd reject me too, bitch. Remove the log from your arrogant, more educated than the average chicken head, perhaps, fucking eye. To the one who much is given, much is expected. You've got a fucking rainforest in your eye, bitch. And the con man is a confidence man. So who do you think you're giving your pussy to? The devil himself? Azazel, his right-hand man? Asmodeus? You think you're better than the average street-walking slut because you fucking suck off the devil? I'm in the corporation now. And act like a bitch? Your mouth is a snake pit. Your womb is the womb of devils. It brings in devils. It's a gateway to hell. Your pussy and your mouth are gateways to hell. Your brain is a gateway to hell. You channel demons. You're like, I have social status, you dumb bitch.